This is Punk Uncle, and this is the inside of my van. Today I'm working on some bike storage solution. We're taking a family trip up to Oregon in the next week, and I don't have a way to put bikes in here other than what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks, which is bungee cording them to the sides. I want something more secure than that because we're traveling a long distance. I'm not ready for my permanent solution, so what I figured out is something that I think will work as a temporary bike solution, and this might come in handy for anybody else who's got a van and trying to figure out a way to store their bikes and transport them safely before they've got everything built out the exact way they want it. So hit that subscribe button, stick around, I'm going to show you what I'm doing right now. What I'm working with is I ordered these MBP fork mounts, they call them bike blocks. I just got these off of Amazon. They're about 30 bucks a piece. And these are what I plan to use permanently. My eventual plan is once I get the subfloor in, I'm gonna have these on the floor to go underneath the bed that we build later. While I'm working that way though, I figured I could use these, and what I wanted to do was find a way to mount the bikes without drilling any unnecessary holes in the van. So what I think I'm gonna do is get some 2x4s, run them along these side rails, use these existing holes so that I don't have to drill anything, and then I'll go ahead and just screw these into the 2x4s, and I'll have some semi-vertical kind of angle mounting here that should work pretty well. And then all we need is wood screws to screw these in. Should be really simple. We're gonna go get some supplies and get on it. Back from Home Depot, we got the supplies we need, I think. So I went ahead and grabbed a couple of pre-cut 4-foot sections of 2x4. I had already measured, and that's basically the gap I've got between these bolt heads where I'm going to put these. So what I am going to do though is I found out that I got screws that are threaded the same as these guys. So I'm going to stagger these two rails, I'm going to call these, in the van. So this one's going to overlap this bracket here, and then the one I do on this side will overlap the bracket in the front. That way, where these 2x4 rails, the one on that side will be back here, and then this one will be up a little farther forward. Then I can have the fork mount staggered so that I can fit more bikes in here. Next step here is I'm going to measure where the holes go on each one of these rails, get those drilled, and then make sure they fit. Nice long plug to glue. Got both of our side rails in. As I said, this one starts a little further back, this one goes a little further forward, so I'm hoping to achieve a 4-bike stagger here. So now we're going to play with getting some bikes in here, figuring out the spacing for the fork mounts, and then getting those mounted up, and then we'll be done. Okay, we got the first mount in, and we figured out through trial and error that mounting it on the face of the rail here instead of up on the top gives us zero interference with the fork legs. I had a little issue with that when I tried putting it up on the top of the rail, so we put it like this. Works fine, lowers the bike a little bit more, but it's no big deal. So now we're gonna set our stagger. Brought a bike in here and figured out that a good spot for the center point of the front wheel is 10 inches from the end of this rail. So now I'm gonna mount the second one here and we'll have our first two offsetting bikes mounted. Okay, so we got two bikes now mounted and the spacing is really good. So now I'm just gonna figure out the spacing for the second bike on the right side here. And then once I know that, I'll know how close on center the fork mounts can be. We might even be able to like fit a fifth bike in here, it's possible. But I've got 3 of those now, so we'll get that done today, and then I'm gonna order a 4th one before this trip. That way I can take a spare bike with us, so we'll be able to haul 4 bikes in here. All of this will be reusable except for the 2x4s and the little bit of hardware that's holding that onto the side of the van. But the fork mounts will transfer to the floor, so the bulk of what we've spent here is gonna be permanent anyway. I gotta say, I love it when a plan comes together, which rarely happens, but this time this actually went almost exactly the way I thought it would. So, like I said, we had a little trial and error, just figuring out the best way to face those mounts. But once we did, figuring out spacing was really easy, and the length of both rails is gonna make it no problem for us to get 4 bikes in this van. I do think if it was absolutely necessary, we could probably throw another mount on the end of this right side one and squeeze another bike in here, but I don't really foresee needing more than 4 bikes at once, and we may even do a hitch mount rack at some point later on as well. So this is gonna work great. I'm gonna order the 4th one. We'll get it put on for this weekend, and then we'll be rolling to Oregon, rolling in style. Thanks for hanging around and watching this. I hope this was helpful to you. Feel free to use this idea and run with it as it may help you. As for me, I've got a mess to clean up and I've got a beer to get to. So thanks for joining. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you guys on the next one.